Hey guys, in this video I'm going to go over a pretty big list of if you are bugging in or if you have a bug out location, things you may want to pre-position and have in place when shtf happens. This is things you may or may not thought of, things that if you haven't homesteaded before you might not realize you need. So anyway, if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the bottom under the comments, and we will have a big discussion on this. Okay. This is not in any particular order. I've just got a huge list. Okay. So we're going to go over these lists, and you might want to write some of this stuff down so that you can have a hard copy. Okay, in your list, I'm going to go first if you're bugging in. Okay, you're going to need things to help you survive this and to grow your own food or raise your own meat. You're going to need all sorts of things. Okay, first of all, in no particular order, you might want to consider having one of those garden claws. It's got the T-handle and then the teeth that come down below and you twist it. Okay, that'll break up clods and break up your dirt. Okay, so a garden claw would be a really, really good thing. And in that same vein, you might want to consider having extra rakes, shovels, hoes, pitchforks. Okay, anything that you think you might need. If you have to dig a ditch, you want one of them sharpshooter shovels. You might want to get one of those big feed scoop shovels, round-ended, square-ended. They have the ones with the fiberglass handles, and the fiberglass handles actually work really well. They're hard to break, and they last. Just make sure that whenever you're done with your rakes and shovels and hoes, you put them out of the sun. Okay? Just if you have wooden ones where you can replace the handles, you can always whittle more handles later. And in that vein, you're going to want to probably store some linseed oil. Okay, boiled linseed oil to treat the handles with. You can always make your fix and wax, but it takes longer, it's harder, and linseed oil works great on all sorts of wooden handles, shovels, axes, rakes, everything. If it's got a wooden handle, just make sure you have in your shed at least a gallon of boiled linseed oil, if not 2. Okay, to keep your stuff nice. And you're going to want some other things too, like to be able to clean those up. You're going to want like a couple wire brushes, and you may want some an extra container of Crisco out there so you can treat the metal so it doesn't rust. So so that's rakes, goes, and chardon. Excuse me. You're going to want some clothesline and clothespins, okay, because you're going to probably have to wash your own clothes by hand. That being said, you may want to get a washboard or a bucket and a plunger, or if you have a solar system, they have a small washer. Okay, it just washes and spins, it doesn't dry, and you can run that off of a solar system. It doesn't take that much power, and you can only fit like a pair of jeans in there or 2 shirts, or it's very small, but it'll save you a lot of scrubbing. Okay, so you might want to consider that, because you're going to have to keep your clothes clean. Okay, and water is going to be an issue depending on where you are. So you want to use the least amount of water possible. You're going to want Dr. Bronner soap to wash your clothes in, because the water that you take out, you're probably going to want to save to put on your garden. Okay, make the water do double duty. So Dr. Bronner soap is all natural. It breaks down. It's not going to hurt your plants. As a matter of fact, it might keep some pests away because of the soap content. So Dr. Bronner soap. And you can stock that up pretty easy. Get a bottle here and there or order it online, however you want to do it. You're going to need buckets, totes, barrels, tarps, things to carry items for yourself or to cover them up. Okay, you're going to want some hand augers. You can get the drill bits where you can. It's either a T-handle with an auger on it, or it's a brace and bit that you go around and around and around. So because you're probably going to have to fix stuff. So if you have that, it will save you a lot of work because you won't have to try to bore a hole by hand with a knife, okay? So having brace and bits and hand augers and stuff is going to be really, really helpful. And in that same vein, you're probably going to want some other type of building supplies. You're going to want, you know, extra nails, screws, fencing staples. You might want to get some extra fencing, okay? In case, what if you manage to get a hold of a pregnant nanny goat? Okay, you need some way to keep her in. Staking them out, yeah, you can do that, and you're going to want cables and chains for that, like dog tie-out chains and things of that nature. But they are notorious for wrapping around things. So, and I actually had a goat kill itself on accident, wrapped around until it choked itself during the night. And I came out the next morning, he had basically hung himself. So that's not good. You're going to want some way to fence those animals in, at least at night, because, you know, there are predators out there, and coyotes and wolves and bears and mountain lions and people, okay? So you might want to build some sort of a shed or an enclosure to put them in at night. You're going to probably want to get a chainsaw with extra fuel. It's only going to last for a little bit, but it'll last a little bit, so it might help you out with some big trees, okay? Now they have a thing, it's a ripping guide basically for a chainsaw. It makes it into a small sawmill. Yeah, I don't know how much they cost. I don't even know where to get them, but I've seen them, and you can rip long boards, or you can rip things in half that you would normally have to use splitting awls and sledgehammers, which again is on my list. Wedges for splitting, and you can make wedges out of wood, but the metal ones are better. So you're going to want at least 2 sledgehammers, a smaller one and a bigger one. Okay, I would suggest like the big sledgehammer and then like a 3-pound hand sledge. So and then you're going to probably want some sort of wheelbarrow, okay, or a garden cart or a wagon to haul things with. Now, please keep in mind the wheelbarrow tires go flat. They have no flat tires. Okay, you might want to buy an extra one, and because nothing sucks worse than not being able to use your wheelbarrow, and you need it. Okay, you can use it for hauling wood, garden, soil, compost, whatever. You know, the wagon with the 2 big bicycle wheels, that carries a lot of stuff. Okay, makes a lot of trips faster and easier and lighter on your back, because you're going to have to work smarter, not harder. So you're going to want something like that. Okay, you're going to want WD-40 or some sort of lubricating for anything that moves. You know, penetrating oil of some sorts. You know, have several of those, because you're going to need that. And in that same vein, you're going to need things like transmission fluid, antifreeze, gear oils, motor oils, you know, just something to keep anything that you have that's mechanical running. Okay, because everything needs oil. Your chainsaws do. If you're lucky enough to have a garden tiller, it's going to need oil. A lawnmower, you know, but they do have push ones that don't require fuel, which you may need to get one depending on your location. Some places don't have grass, like in the Southwest, where there's nothing but sand and dirt and trees and bushes and things like that. So you don't really have any grass down there. So you may not have to worry about that depending on where you are. But if you're anywhere that has grass, you're going to need some way to do something with that grass. Now, one thing you could do is let it grow up and harvest it for your animals, okay? Or let them graze it down. Now, that leads to the problem of fire danger, okay? Back in the olden days, way back, they used to keep the houses cleaned around them. They'd keep all grass and stuff swept away from the homes, because it would be just dirt all the way around for fire, because of fire. You know, they didn't want to lose their home. So you may want to consider something like that. You're going to need a tire repair kit, and that includes for bicycles or regular tires. You're going to need, you know, bicycle tubes, maybe a couple extra tubes and a patch kit or 2, because that's going to be real important. You're going to need a regular tire repair kit in case you get a flat in your vehicle. Okay. Now this is all great till you run out of fuel. All right. Once you run out of fuel, you really can't do anything else with them, because, well, you don't have no fuel. So, but until they run out of fuel, you can make the most use out of them, unless it's an EMP where nothing will work. And then still some things will work anyway. You're going to want to think about having a solar kit, okay, and a 12-volt compressor refrigerator. They're not very big, You know, they'll run $500 to $800 pretty handy just for the fridge, and probably another $1,000 for a solar setup. Okay, because that means the solar panels, the charge controller, and the batteries, whether they be deep cycle or lithium or however you wish, you know, whatever you wish. Please, you're going to want to learn a little bit about solar if you're going to have it. Watch a bunch of videos on how to install it, how to maintain it, what to look for, etc., etc. But it could sure make your life a lot easier if you had some solar, if there was no power, because you know, your lights at night, you know, because in the wintertime, you know, it gets dark 5, 6 o'clock, and then you've got 4 or 5 hours where you're sitting around going, okay, what am I going to do? So in that vein, you might want to consider some card and board games, okay, for something like that. Of course, there's other things you can do at night that will help your survival. You can make things by hand, but you're still going to need light to do it. So a good solar kit would be good. Now, you can get a couple of solar panels that are portable and set them out during the day and bring them in at night, so make sure that nobody steals them. Okay, they have those solar things like the Goal Zero thingies. Okay, well, they're very expensive. Jackery has another one that's a lot cheaper, and they've teamed up with Honda. So just look up Jackery, Jackery, right? And you can it's like $500 instead of $2,000. Okay, so yeah, that's a lot cheaper, and they have solar panels too that will work with those. So you can get a couple of smaller ones even, you know, for $200-300 a piece, and that way you have more than one power station. That's always an idea. Okay, as far as light goes, you know, you're going to want, if you're going to stock up on stuff like that in your home, you might want to consider like the lamp oil and the lanterns, like the hurricane lanterns. And you're going to want extra fuel for that. You're also going to want extra lamp wicks, okay? And mantles. If you're going to use propane and you're going to use your propane lantern, you're going to want extra mantles for that, because those things get very brittle. You bump them after you've turned them off or something, and they break, and then you can't use them. So you're going to want extra lamp wicks and stuff for that. And those are easy to stock up on. Walmart has the lamp wicks over there where they sell the lamp oil. Solar lights, like those little garden lights, okay? They just plug into the ground and charge during the day, and they stay on several hours at night. Those work great. Lucy lights, anything that charges from the sun would work pretty good, and that way you can move it around. Do keep in mind, though, that in an shtf situation, lights are a beacon for other people, okay? They will come to the light because they know that you've got something that they don't. And, you know, if you happen to get people in your, you know, that you've taken in, because that might happen too, you might want to have to consider having a couple extra camping cots, okay? Because let's say there's 4 in your family, and there's 2 bedrooms, 2 kids are in one bedroom, you and your spouse are in the other. You have no place to put them. So if you're going to take them in, you know, you might want to get a couple of camping cots for them to bunk in the living room on, or in the office, or whatever. Or even if it's a huge walk-in closet, set them up in there. Set them out up on the back porch, you know, close it in with whatever, whether it be tarps or wood, or if it's already enclosed, that'd be awesome too. If it's in the wintertime, you're going to want to consider having snowshoes and snow skis, and maybe a sled, couple of those plastic sleds, because you know, getting around in snow that's over about a foot deep, it's going to be tough. You can just post hole it till then, but once it gets pretty deep, you're going to want some snowshoes. Now, they had some kits on snowshoes on Amazon for like $65. Now, it includes the trekking poles and the snowshoes and a little bag to carry them in. So I checked that out yesterday. You're going to want something to be able to filter the water for your home, for your drinking coffee, tea, cooking, what have you. They have those Berkey filters. They're kind of expensive. You can Google on YouTube. You can search on YouTube. You can make them out of 2 5-gallon buckets and just get the ceramic filters. You don't have to get the Berkey ones. They have others that are available, and you can do it a lot cheaper that way. Excuse me. But they're the ceramic filters, and you drill a hole in the bottom of the bucket, and then you put them on, and then You put the dirty water up top, and then it filters through the filters and then comes out the little hole in the bottom of the filter that you've poked through the hole you drilled. So, but yeah, installing that's really easy. But you're going to want extra filters, okay? Now, to clean those Berkey filters, you're going to need those little green scrubby pads, right? Because that's how you clean them. And in that vein, you're going to probably want to get some extra steel wool. Now, you can get like for cast iron, they have like a chainmail square that you can buy. And I saw them on wish.com. And they're stainless steel. And they can be used over and over and over for a very, very long period of time until you wear the metal out. And those would be a good option to have for a long term. It's a little square. It's just a little square of nothing but your little chain links, okay? And you can scrub your cast iron and stuff with that. And it would loosen up anything that's cooked on, okay? You're going to need, for cooking, you're going to need something to cook on. So you're going to probably want to figure out some sort of either a wood stove, an outside cooking pit with a fire pit, or make it even a little outdoor stove station. You know, put a little cover over it. Have a wood stove out there so that you can cook outside if you need to. Okay. You know, this is a lot of work, and this can come into a lot of money, but there's a lot of things you can do to mitigate that, like buy the filters for Berkey separate and just get a couple of buckets. Save yourself a couple $100. So you're going to need a firewood shed of some sort. You can put tarps over it, yeah, but the tarps are only going to last so long, and they're a pain in the butt to move around, and then snakes and stuff can get up underneath them. You lift the tarp up and there's a snake. Okay, so you're going to want some sort of a lean-to shed. Make it a pretty good size one. You can use metal, just wood framework with some metal on 3 sides in the roof. And, you know, lay down pavers. Now, one thing you're going to have to worry about with your firewood shed, especially if you're not using it a lot, is termites. So, you know, you might want to lay down those square garden pavers on the floor, okay? Or at least, the very least, you know, cover it with gravel so that it gets the wood up off the ground a little bit, so that water doesn't soak in and rot your bottom layer, okay? You're going to need some sort of waterproofing, okay? Whether that be for your tents, your roofs, etc. They have some stuff called, it's in a tube, it's like tar, okay, for repairing roofs. They also have some Eternabond tape, okay? So if you have something you need to patch, and you can, it comes on a roll, it's about 4 inches wide. It's kind of expensive, but it's good stuff. Eternabond is the name of it. But you need something to be able to waterproof your stuff, whether it be tents or roofs or whatever, okay? You're going to need, I got that, okay? You're going to probably want spare sheets and pillowcases, okay? Not just to change your bed sheets, okay? But because of the cloth. You can get those down there at the Goodwill store for $1 and $2 and $3. Thrift stores, just buy bed sheets. Flat ones and fitted ones if you want, but the flat ones will be more useful to you. Because you can make all kinds of things with the cloth. Now, you can find $1 a yard cloth down there at Walmart. You know, just stock up on some cloth, okay? A treadle sewing machine if you don't have power, or, you know, you're going to need an inverter for your solar, okay, if you're going to run anything off of it other than 12-volt appliances. But do keep in mind you will need an inverter for that. I almost forgot. But the spare sheets and pillowcases will be real handy, okay? You can make shade cloth with them, but you might want to just get some shade cloth, okay? And if you live in a hotter climate, you're probably going to want to do that. If you live up in the northern areas, shade cloth isn't as near as important as it is down there, let's say, in Phoenix, okay? Now, if you're going to use propane for cooking and heating and things like that, you're going to have one of those great big propane tanks, like a 1,000-gallon tank, right? Or at least a 500-gallon tank. And which is why I said you probably want to get a wood stove, depending on your location. Now, if you live out in the desert, where are you going to get the wood, right? So you may want to get a great big propane tank for cooking and what have you, right? Because, you know, you can, if you're in a static location, you have to conserve the resources right around you as long as possible, okay? So you may want to stockpile some propane. Now, if you've got a cooker and it uses those small bottles, you know, the little green bottles, they actually have a kit where you can refill it from like a 20-pound cylinder, right? So you can stockpile a bunch of those 20-pound cylinders. They run about 50 bucks a piece, filled. You can sometimes find used ones on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or swap meets or anything like that. If you can get a used one, get it, okay? You know, and even if it's got the old stuff on it, you can trade it in for a filled one, okay? That's like 20, 25 bucks. But those, they have a stand, I don't know where to, yeah, I think you can get them on Amazon, okay? But you basically, it turns it upside down, and it's got a thing where you can screw it into the propane tank, and then you screw your little green bottle into that, and you just have to Google how to do it. It's not that hard to do. But you can refill those little green 1-pound bottles, okay? Just so that you know. And it's not that big. And you're going to want some extra hoses. So if you do use the grill with the 20-pound tank, and this hose is a couple of years old, you may want to have 1 or 2 replacement hoses for that. And stock them in a cool, dry area in the dark so that the sun doesn't degrade them as long as possible. Because all rubber and plastic products will eventually degrade. You might want to consider having some extra PVC pipes and glue and connectors, things of that nature. You know, small ones as well as great big ones. Because if you were to, let's say your homestead, there's a creek that's 100 foot up, okay, over. And it's slightly uphill and it's running downhill, but not towards you. You can actually pipe that water to your home. Okay, and you need something to do that with, whether that be bamboo, split in half to make a trough, and then you lay them out on some forked sticks of some sort, or whether you have if there's a little tiny waterfall there, you have the pipe coming up underneath the waterfall, and then it runs down in a pipe. However, you might want to consider something like that if you have water anywhere near your bug out home or retreat. So the PVC pipes and glue and stuff. You know, it's hard to know what you would need in the way of connectors and stuff because, you know, you just don't know. But you can only do the best you can do. You can get up a big box of nothing but PVC connectors and just like pick one up every time you go by there or something, you know, and different sizes. Whatever sizes of pipe you have are the sizes of connectors and elbows and things that you may need. Because you also may, if you do happen to have a well with a solar pump, you may need that to take some water pipe over to your goat pen, okay, rather than bucket it, which is why you're also going to have lots of extra buckets. I mean, a big old stack of them. Just have a lot of them. Buckets are handy. You can use them for I don't know how many things. You might want to consider, now they have roof tiles that are like half moon shaped, okay, they use them a lot in the Southwest, and they're made out of, they're like a saltillo tile looking thing. They're about yay thick. They're kind of heavy. They do not degrade. You can actually get a pallet of them delivered and just stack it off to the side. Okay, they're just roof tiles. You know, you might want to consider some work aprons. You know, the big heavy canvas aprons. So if you're out there working, you're sparing your clothes because you have to wash those clothes. You have to repair those clothes because clothes are not going to last forever. If it's a true shtf situation and grid down and you have 3 changes of clothes, what are you going to do when you wear those out? It's hard to wear out clothes now because we don't do the hard labor that we would do in an shtf situation. So, you know, stockpile extra clothes too. Anything that fits, and then some sizes that are smaller than you, because if you're like me and you're carrying a little extra, when you start having to chop firewood every day and haul this and dig in the garden and clean this and do that, you're going to lose weight. You're going to tone up and lose weight, and you're going to get smaller. So you might want to have some sizes smaller. And in that same vein, you're going to want extra footwear. Okay, you're going to want a lot of extra footwear. Right, take and buy, take all your old shoes, put them in a box. The ones that aren't worn out. Buy some new ones and start wearing them. Those are extras. So, you might want to consider things like lime, okay, for an outhouse, because you're going to have some way to dispose of your waste. And lime is a good thing to do that with if you have an outhouse, because it reduces smell. You can also use lime in your garden to sweeten your soil. You might want to consider having those porta potties, okay, so that at nighttime they used to have chamber pots, okay. Well, a porta potty is nothing but a glorified chamber pot, and if you wish to use a chamber pot, that's fine. But at least the porta potty's got a seal. When you're done, you can close the lid, and it kind of seals in the smell. But the lime is also good for getting rid of anything that's dead bodies, okay, that smell involved. What if, you know, Joe Schmo had a heart attack because he was trying to find some place to go eat, and he died at the end of your driveway, okay? What if you had to kill somebody to protect your family? There's a dead body to deal with. You could bury them. There's a lot of work, too. But if there's a smell issue, then you're going to want lime. Okay, you're going to want to stockpile soaps of all sorts. Laundry soaps, hand sanitizer, dish soaps, Dr. Bronner soaps, all that kind of stuff. You're going to want to stockpile a lot of that. Now, I wouldn't suggest necessarily stockpiling the liquid soap, because the powdered soap will stay much longer. And you can get that in like a 5-gallon bucket. And then when you're done, you've got the bucket. So, you know, you stockpile several of those and you'll be good to go. A manual can opener, okay? A lot of people have electric can openers. You know, P38s are great, P58s, but, you know, those hand twist ones, you can get them. They're not that hard to do. And if you haven't done it, open a couple of cans with them and practice. It's easy enough. Now, for your garden, you might want to consider having one of those, at least a portable garden shed, if not a portable garden greenhouse, if not a real one, okay? Something to sprout your seeds in, okay? Because you might want to get a jump on the season, especially with grand solar minimum coming. You got 5 to 10 years before that bad weather is supposed to hit. I kind of believe that's going to happen. And inside, you're going to want sprouting cups, something to sprout your seeds in. Okay, you don't have to buy those trays, those commercially made trays that cost $3 to $5 a piece or however much. You can buy those little solo cups, those little clear plastic solar cups that are about yay tall, like 3 and 4 inches tall, and use those. You can stack pile crap loads of those, easy, but just make sure you keep them out of the sun in a cool, dark area so that the plastic cups don't degrade, solo cups. And in that same vein, you're going to want to worry about stockpiling like picnic supplies, paper plates, napkins, paper towels, toilet paper, all sorts of things like that, solo cups. Because in an SHTF situation, doing dishes might be an issue if you don't have a lot of water, so therefore you're going to want all that kind of stuff. You know, the toilet paper, yeah, you're going to want to stockpile some of that. If you have, you know, this video's more for people who are bugging in or have a retreat location. So, okay, leather and leather working tools, okay? You might want to go down to a Tandy Leather and get some leather, some hides of leather for making axe sheaths. There's a lot of things you can use to make with leather. If your hinges got broken down because somebody kicked in your door, you can make leather hinges. So having a little leather wouldn't be that big of a deal. They also have leather working tools with hole punches and awls and sewing awls and you know, all kinds of stuff. All right, you've seen a little bit of that in my repair and maintenance kit video. But you can get edgers, you can get all kinds of things. You might want to consider getting, you know, a blacksmithing area in your bug out location where you can do things with a vise and an anvil and files and different tools that you may need to work on stuff that you have to fix it or to make something that you need. So you're going to want to consider something like stockpiling aluminum foil. Okay, aluminum foil, plastic wrap, wax paper, all that kind of stuff. Just get a tote and start putting it in there, right? The aluminum foil especially is going to be helpful for all us girls out there. You know, we have to worry about our monthly time. Okay, so you might want to, you know, stockpile feminine hygiene products and diapers. Okay, you might want to consider stocking diapers. You know, like me, I've had a full hysterectomy. I'll never have a kid. But what if I took in somebody that did? Okay, cloth diapers especially would be handy. You can get you can stockpile if you have a big enough area. You could stockpile disposable diapers, but what are you going to do with them when you're done with them? Okay, all that stuff has to be disposed of. So unless you have a big area where you can dig a great big hole and burn it and bury it, then yeah, you're going to want cloth diapers so that they can be washed out. You're going to want something like razors, deodorant, maybe hair clippers. Okay, now you can get the battery operated kind, or they even have the hand squeeze kind. State Line Tack, I think you can get them. They're for horses. Okay, but they're not electrical. They're a set of like clippers, only you squeeze them like scissors, and they got the head, and you can squeeze them. You can give yourself a haircut. You can shave something down. You're gonna want to make sure you stockpile for your dogs, okay, or your cats, and that includes flea and tick collars and drops and food and nail clippers and brushes if they're got a big heavy coat, like my dog's got a big thick undercoat. You know, you're going to want things like sandbags, okay, in case you have to harden your home. You can fill them up with dirt and line the inside of your walls with them, or the outside, but preferably the inside so they can't take them down. You're going to want some sort of hunting ammo, okay, and protective ammo. They have not case hardened, they have hard cast, that's the name of it. Hard cast bullets that you can use that will take down a bear, all right, because it'll penetrate. You're gonna, penetrator ammo, okay, not for people necessarily. This is for things like for large predators like bears and mountain lions and wolves and things like that. If you're way out in the way, if your bug out retreat is way up in the forest, you do have to worry about that. So let's see, sandbags, strike anywhere matches, Bic lighters. Those are easy to stock up on. Keep them, in something that's watertight, okay, so that you can keep them from going bad. You're going to want bow saws or buck saws, and you're going to want extra blades for those. Eyeglass repair kit, okay, sewing repair kit. With buttons and thread and things of that nature. Even if you don't know how to sew, shit hits the fan, you're going to have to repair things, and if you're going to have to learn. If you don't already know, you're going to have to learn. You're going to want to possibly have some live traps and some foot traps for trapping. Rat traps, David Canterbury sells some metal ones that are reusable that you can use over and over and over for years. So having something that is reusable like that would be a good for a long-term grid down situation or a true shtf. Now make sure that when you set those rat traps, you tie them with a piece of wire so that whatever you trap in it doesn't drag it off. You might want to make some rabbit hutches in a chicken coop, okay? You can always live trap a rabbit and wait till she has babies and then eat her as soon as the babies are weaned, and then start raising wild rabbits. But if you're in a permanent situation, go ahead and get your rabbits, okay, and your chickens, your baby chicks. Raise them up. Start getting your own eggs. Get chickens that like to brood, okay, so that they'll hatch more babies. Because after a couple of years, chickens kind of quit laying, and then you'll have to eat those chickens. So, bug and wasp killer spray. Okay, you're gonna want some of that because I'm allergic to wasps, and I think bees, but for sure wasps, and I don't want to have them around my homestead. And they like to make, at the ends of pipes and things like that, they like to make little homes everywhere. You might want to have some wasp spray. You might want to dig yourself a root cellar, okay? If you've got enough area, or if you don't have a good basement, you might want to consider renting one of those backhoes. Dig yourself a root cellar. Line it with concrete block, put it all in there. Leave the floor dirt unless you're in a low-lying area. And then a root cellar may or may not be the best way to go. You might want to have to build it half up out of the ground and then just cover it with dirt rather than recess it into the side of a hill. I think, yeah, Ziploc baggies, contractor bags. Now, contractor bags are great for a lot of things, and you can, gather up trash around your place, but what are you going to do with the bags of trash? Okay, you need to make sure you have some burn barrels, right? Some 55-gallon drums, metal 55-gallon drums, and you're going to want a screen over the top of some sort to keep sparks from coming out. It's called a spark arrestor, okay? Never leave a burn barrel unattended. Even if you got to go to the bathroom, have somebody watch it, because it's real easy for it to catch on fire. Put it on some concrete little pavers. Don't set it directly on the ground. And as soon as the fire's out, dump it over, because lye, if it gets rain in there, lye will eat the bottom of your can out. Okay, because that's where you make lye. You get lye to make soap, is with your wood ashes. But yeah, with your burn barrel, it's gonna have other trash in there. You probably aren't gonna want to use that. But just dump all the leftovers out, and then leave the barrel upside down when not in use. And that way, it doesn't rot out the bottom near as quick. And you might want to consider some notebooks, okay, to make yourself like a diary or a journal, okay, to keep track of things like when you planted those seeds, when the last frost was for last year, when the first frost was, you know, any kind of information. You might want to have several of those notebooks. You can get them, they're like $1 a piece, right? Something to keep track of things that happen around that are going to be a regular thing, especially. You're going to want to get a well bucket if you have a well and don't have a solar pump. And I explained that in one of my videos. It's a long tube. You pull your pump, you put a long rope on it, drop it down in there. It's got the flap on the bottom. Fertilizer for your garden. You know, you're going to be able to eventually, with chicken manure and rabbit manure and leaves and things like that, you can make compost, and that's great. But until you get the compost, you need something to help fertilize your food to make it grow, because you can't afford to lose a season because you didn't have enough goodies in the soil. And this, you know, I'm probably going to think up another 2 pages worth of stuff. But this is it for now. This one's gone on way too long. Please like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. Hit the bell icon if you haven't already done that. And I've got some links down below for an EMP shield unit, $50 off coupon code. And y'all come back and see me.